Hey, hello. I hadn't done a lot of post commentary on actual rotations and fights in a while, and we are at the end of the expansion, so I'm not sure that all of this is going to be applicable once midnight starts. But I can talk a little bit about how Frost is feeling and playing right now and comparing to some of the other specs. I did have someone in one of the videos commented they wish I heard a little commentary because I do have a spell tracker showing on the bottom, but that's sometimes it helps just to talk a little bit about what we're doing. So we'll go ahead and go through. We did the first 6 bosses in Mythic. And we have it is the end of the expansion, so people are dragging in their pretty bad alts. So it's not going to be any kind of shining run. But it does have some good gameplay example for Frost here. So I'm going to go ahead and play through the video and I'll talk through anything interesting. Start out with Plexus here. Frost is a pretty simple opener, just playing a Spell Slinger here. So just start off with your Glacial Spike, then you're going to Orb and Ray, throw your potion. And then just start spamming off Ice Lances. Now you do want Orb to be used on cooldown pretty much. Same with Ray. I think once we get into midnight, we may be wanting to time those two things together as much as possible, but for now, just launch them. Oh, looks like people didn't get in the circle like they were supposed to. That's not surprising. Now you can probably see in my tracker, and I got my mouse kind of circling it, I'm tracking the freezing stacks. So the idea with Spell Slinger is as soon as you get more than 6 stacks, you can start launching off Ice Lances, bring it back down. You don't really want to shoot it below 6 because then you're wasting a use of a stack, right? So our Ice Lance will shatter 6, I think. But if you're only got 4 stacks and you shoot an Ice Lance, well, then you have potential of 2 wasted there, right? Don't seem like much, but it does add up over the course of a fight. These fights are really easy now, even for, yeah, I would say about a third of the raid is not geared the way they should be for this. But pretty easy fight. Now we're here at Lumathar, which was actually before the pre-patch. This is where we were stuck. That was our 3rd boss, and it's pretty devastating damage going out when the beams go out there. But since the pre-patch, things got a lot easier. It's the same basic thing here as Spell Slinger. We're just watching our stacks and launching off Ice Lances. Keep those stacks from capping and throw out your Orb and your Glacial and your Ray of Frost as soon as you can. Keep those stacks building. Once you get a little used to tracking your freezing stacks, you can see how your different spells affect that. So you can see right there, I had kind of a lot of stacks, so I used my Ice Lances to dump before I threw that Ray of Frost. The other thing we'll do is with a Brain Freeze proc, when we throw Flurry, we're going to get Thermal Void, and that's a pretty big priority to throw that right away too, because that will actually allow you to allow you to shatter, I think, at maximum of whatever stacks you could have. Not quite sure on that, but If we got a thermal void, throw a ice lance. How about that? Flurry too is something we're throwing pretty much on cooldown. Nice change they made is our frozen orb will actually head to our target now. Doesn't mean you have to have something targeted when you throw it. It doesn't just launch off into wherever you're pointing now, but that's nice. And Lumathar down. It's pretty easy once again. Everything got nerfed pretty well. But that's pretty much what Spellslinger is doing. It's all about just spending your procs and dumping ice lances to keep the stacks down. And then, as we try to finesse that, you just keep an eye on your stacks and make sure that you're not wasting, you're not overcapping stacks or throwing ice lances when your stacks are too low. Getting a little bit of screen shake here. So I use a Razor Naga. And in this particular fight, I like to be able to turn and look around myself. So I'm usually leaning on the right mouse button, which of course lets you turn your camera. But then you're pressing all those 12 buttons on the side of your Naga. Or more likely, I'm just pressing the number 2 button, which is my ice lance, over and over, which can make the camera a little shaky. If you haven't done Mythic, then Soulbinder has a little special thing that's not in Heroic or the other difficulties, but after she knocks you back, you leave these puddles, which, yeah, we didn't really do a good job at that. Not surprising. That's okay. Same thing. If you look at the stacks on my counter and watch how the ice lances I'm throwing, I'm trying to do my best to keep those stacks managed correctly. Now don't let them overcap. Then you get the brain freeze. Make sure you flip your flurry and get that thermal void used. One thing to note is a Ray of Frost is going to give you a couple charges of Fingers of Frost. Those you want to launch when you have them too. Same sort of thing like Thermal Void, where you're getting good shatter damage even if you don't have that freezing stack on them on the mobs. I doubt that I would have hovered over my details meter, but I'll tell you right now, probably 50 to 60% of my damage is just from shatter, just using that debuff. All right, that's where things get a little bit tougher, and some of our people have shifted over to less lousy alts. Forge Weaver starts to get a little harder. Getting some more of that camera shake again. This one, once again, it's a little different than Heroic. But the big shtick they kind of added was the ads, when they come out, they have to pass through that black hole on the ground. That's what lets them be attackable. But if you do not accomplish that, then they just keep moving, can't be stopped or slowed or DPS'd. And then they'll go hit the pillar and probably wipe the raid. Now I'm running straight single target spec through every boss in this raid. However, we still seem to get some decent damage out, even if they're ads. Let's see, I got an ad, so I got to get behind the circle. I should probably be working on the echo over there right now. But I know I can Nova those ads and slow them a little bit, so that's why I was over on the boss. But unfortunately, nobody else was killing Echo, so. Oh, I got another ad, so off I go. No, surprisingly, I was expecting to wipe this boss because we usually do, but it looks like we're able to push him over. You get him to his dark terminus nowadays, it's pretty much game over for him. So as you can see, I'm not doing anything super complicated. We're just managing our stacks and making sure we use our procs and abilities appropriately versus those stacks. One thing we also are getting from Spellslinger, which, by the way, I like the Frostfire spec side better, but Spellslinger is I've tested it. It's doing a bit better than Frostfire right now for the raids. Hey, this is one of my more favorite fights. So we already wiped on this once or maybe twice because we got some gimpies in here, like I said. But so for this fight, I do change to a Mythic Plus spec for Spellslinger, so I can pump some better damage into the other ads. My raid always seems to forget that Dark Sorrow has the highest health, and that should be your main target. So, ideally, that would be our skull. That's okay, though. I remembered. So, a little change would go to our AoE spec. Same for a Mythic Plus, as we are going to be throwing some instant cast blizzards out. And we do want to use those, actually. It's pretty good damage. So one shtick on this fight is they do 3 hunts, and you can't take more than one. So we kind of assign that out. Hey, this group is going to the first hunt. This one's going to the next. Like that. As you can see from the nameplates, Duskblaze, our skull is almost down, so probably we should have skulled Dark Sorrow. Yeah, Ray of Frost and just dump in those Ice Lances, and Frozen Orb and keep dumping out Ice Lances and Thermal Voids. Instant Cast Blizzard. pretty good stuff. So the feel for Spellslinger right now in Mythic Plus is pretty good too. And done. Well, there's a quick little run through first 6 boxes Mythic. Oh, I'm sorry, I got one more. I forgot about Fractalus, but unfortunately he's pretty forgettable. He's easy. Now, I don't usually beat the Unholy DKs on this one. But I think I did this fight. This fight has a lot of movement, and then in addition, the travel times for Glacial Spike were funny before, especially when we were trying to shatter it with Winter's Chill, but we're not working against that anymore, so I think I may have changed the way this fight was kind of harder for Frost to do well on. Oh, guess I took a chance at throwing that Ray of Frost right before I was going to get knocked backwards. It looks like I finished. Guess before this fight ends, I'll point out I'm not tracking a whole ton of stuff. I've got utility cooldowns up here showing a couple of my spells, and then essential cooldowns and showing some of the other ones. And then, of course, I'm tracking buffs, but I don't track that much. Thermal Void, Brain Freeze, and our stacks is the most important. Oh, I barely beat the DKs. That's all right, though. That counts. Anyway, there you go. That is first 6 bosses of Mythic. And like I said, coming out of this expansion, Frost feels like it's doing okay. It's hard to say what's going to happen once we launch into Midnight and start opening up those Apex talents, right? I think that's going to change stuff, but and the extra hero talents too. Spellslinger looks like it's pretty strong right now, and it should be fine. If you get used to managing those stacks, you'll be in a good place. Nice thing is Frostfire does not play too much different, and I do think Frostfire might still be good to use a Mythic Plus, but it doesn't have the same single target that Spellslinger has right now. And when I do these raids, which will be the last one probably I do for this expansion, I'm running just straight single target because these bosses are dying so fast. No use counting on picking up some damage from ads, because those phases aren't going to be long enough. But anyway, I hope you enjoy that little run through. If you want to take a look at some of those add-ons I'm using, like these text frames, I actually have authored those myself. They're up on CurseForge, so I'll put a link in the description, and I'll also put up I guess our Warcraft logs link for this run. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.